Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Ryden. About 20 years ago, my wife and I took a trip to Italy and visited the famous Uffizi Gallery in Florence. And there was so much to take in that by the time we got to the end and discovered a huge interactive display featuring the life and works of Leonardo da Vinci, I couldn't take in any more. My brain was simply overloaded with information. Fortunately, our guest today, Claudius Petrini, has come to my rescue with a unique look at the life of the great painter and inventor. The book is called Da Vinci and Me, 500 Years Later. Welcome, Claudius. Glad you could be with us. So you
Thank
just
you. Nice to be with you.
so you just missed being a contemporary of Da Vinci by a mere 5 centuries. But
500.
yeah, but you both had a lot in
Exactly.
but you both had a lot in common, right?
Right. A lot in common because I just discovered that, I was 500 years. I was born in March and he was in April. There's the only difference. Otherwise,
Mhm.
it's 500 years between us.
Yeah.
And I was since high school, we study art on 10th grade and we were fascinated with the Renaissance and the paintings and that I kept. I was active, and I am an art collector. So I was fascinated with Leonardo. But as you said, I went to Florence and I went to visit Uffizi Gallery. Then I went to the Vatican and I visited Vatican, even though he doesn't have a painting in the Vatican. But
Mhm.
it's just incredible. There was Michelangelo, who it's unbelievable. So Da Vinci, it's unreachable.
There's a lot
Considering
there.
the last painting of him was sold with 400 attributed, but and the painting was sold with $400 million, four hundred
Good
fifty million
grief.
dollars. I
Wow.
I investigate that painting and I wrote in my book that that painting was actually not painted by Da Vinci.
Really?
Isn't that a surprise
It is a
to
surprise.
hear
It's,
that?
as a matter of fact, you say that just about everything we know about Da Vinci is wrong. So enlighten us. What are some
Exactly.
wrong things that we don't know?
Like for example, did you know that Da Vinci was gay?
I did not.
Okay, so that's one of the things. He was
How do you? Oh,
he
wait,
was
wait, wait.
gay,
How do
and
you know that? How do you know that?
do you see the color, the shirt I'm wearing?
I do.
This is the color pink.
Yes.
Pink.
Okay.
Pink was his favorite color,
Okay.
and
I
he
like
wear
pink.
that he was very, very flamboyant.
Uh huh.
And anyway, so the the first years of his life between he came to Florence to study painting and sent to the workshop of what's
Somebody.
his name? Was of
I don't know. You wrote
was
the
sent
book.
to the yeah, no, it was, yeah, but it was I'm just, I have a lapses now because I'm getting old and you have to
Well, it's
understand that
probably watch it. You're about
Verrocchio,
my age, so
Andrea Andre, Andrea del Verrocchio.
okay.
So okay, so he was, nobody knows exactly when he ended up in his workshop, and in his workshop he met other young people like him, talented, and among those was a young man called uh, Perugino. And this Perugino, who was his friend, uh, he was waiting years to get into this workshop. The workshop was very restricted at that time. Only extremely talented children were accepted.
Hmm.
So Leonardo, in when he graduated about age 22, he was admitted in the Guild of uh, Florentine painters.
Hmm.
However, he still stayed with Verrocchio's in the workshop because he didn't have a place to go.
Hmm.
So by the age of 20 something, 24, he was caught in a homosexual relationship. And somebody like, who like these days, even in New York, if you see something, say something, they have a tamburo. They have a tamburo. So somebody could file a complaint against him and 3 other young men. So that was a big problem because, they were punishable in Florence with sometimes to death.
Wow.
So Leonardo was really scared. He was lucky because one of the other guys was related to the Medici's wife's family. So they shoved it under the carpet and was dismissed. However, a few weeks later, somebody put another complaint, and Leonardo panicked, and he just disappeared from Florence for 2 years, and nobody knows what he were. For 2 years, he was in hiding. So that was the period when he was really, really worried about his
sexuality.
I don't know how to put it. Sexuality, exactly.
Well, let me ask you this.
So let
me ask you this. There is so little known about Leonardo in his formative years and even in his young adulthood, but yet you've come up with a bunch of stuff. Where did you get the information on Da Vinci that's in the book?
Okay. So then let me continue with this because this is connected.
Okay.
So when he disappeared, his boss, Andrea del Verrocchio, went to Venice to finish a big statue in the middle of Venice. So he was left with his friend Perugino. So when Leonardo disappeared and Verrocchio died in Venice, Perugino was left with the workshop. And Leonardo left all his previous works in the workshop. Perugino didn't throw away Leonardo's belongings, and he took the drawings with him to Perugia, where he was from. So what you see behind me, all these drawings, are Leonardo's drawings from his early years. Now, so Perugino, he became famous because he was with Verrocchio. He opened his own school, his own workshop, and one of his most talented students was Raphael. So apparently, Perugino talked to Raphael about Leonardo, and Raphael was fascinated with the works of Leonardo, and he wanted to meet Leonardo. And that happened around 1500, because Leonardo was moving around, was working for different. And for example, you know that he was a painter, right?
Of course.
That everybody knows.
Yeah.
He was not a painter.
What? Da Vinci was not a painter?
He was not a painter.
Okay.
Right.
What was he?
Is that shocking?
I'm shocked.
He was
Mine is
basically,
blown.
Yeah, exactly. He was basically a defense contractor.
Okay.
He was an inventor.
Well, we knew that about him. Yeah, we knew he was an inventor. Yeah.
That's how he earned his living. He wrote in his resume, in the book, his resume, he wrote that the Duke of Milan, when he applies for a job, and only the whole resume is pretty long. At the end of the resume, he said, I also know how to paint.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
So we know, actually, that didn't stop him drawing and, occasionally painting, because that's, like today we have computers, we have, even today we have to design something by hand. So that's what he was doing. Everything he was doing by hand. So he was doing by hand. So basically if there is a museum in Milano, which is Da Vinci Museum, and somebody had the inspiration to build all his little inventions and put them to work. including probably a tank, including a parachute, and all kind of other inventions. So that's how he made his living. It's true there was the painter who changed the world because he was young when he painted the Last Supper. But he also invented the paint to paint the Last Supper, and the paint didn't last and deteriorate. And when he went to the Vatican to apply for a job, because this is a book about Vatican, he applied for a job and he almost got a job, but he mentioned to the Pope that he invented a new kind of paint. That was it. The Pope didn't hire him.
Why?
So basically, because he was afraid that the paint he's going to put on a Vatican is going to deteriorate like the one in Florence.
Okay.
You saw the Last Supper.
Oh yeah. Now, so next thing you're going to tell me is that Da Vinci didn't paint the Mona Lisa.
Exactly.
He did.
No, I didn't say he didn't paint. I didn't say he didn't paint the Mona Lisa. He painted the Mona Lisa we know, which is in Paris. But actually, that's not Mona Lisa.
Who is it?
Exactly. Who is that woman?
Well,
Mona Lisa is the wife of a merchant, Mona Lisa del Giocondo, and this is actually the real Mona Lisa.
Oh, okay. That's the story of the real Mona Lisa.
Okay.
And that's in your book.
This is the real Mona Lisa.
Okay. All right.
It's in the book. Everything is in my book. So this, yes, because you see, nobody would pay. Mona Lisa looks a little bit old, doesn't it? How old do you think Mona Lisa? Like 40 something now?
No, I'd say 30ish. I don't think she looks old.
Well, yeah, but
to you and me,
serious woman.
To you and me, we're about the same age. She looks young.
Look young.
Yeah, everybody looks young.
Yeah, but so the younger girl looks older, right? So basically, he painted the Mona Lisa. The Giocondo paid him to paint his wife, and the picture I show you that his younger wife which was 23 years old when Leonardo painted. And that painting is where it's known as Wentworth Mona Lisa, which is probably somewhere in England. Nobody knows exactly what it's in England or is in duty free in Switzerland. So Mona Lisa, at Louvre Mona Lisa, which I went to see many times, which was an incredible painting, is actually supposed to be the mother of the child of Giuliano de' Medici.
Okay.
Giuliano de' Medici, you see, at that time, the Medici had popes. So from the family of the Medici, they were elected popes. So the popes in Vatican, the Giuliano's brother was young. The story is it's interesting because they were invited to a castle somewhere in the middle of Italy, and Giuliano went to a party, and there he met a woman. That woman was Pacifica Brandani, and he had an affair with that woman, and the woman got pregnant, and when she was afraid to come with the baby to tell the father that that's his baby, so he told the nurse, in case she dies, she'll take the baby to the castle and tell him that this is the child of Giuliano de' Medici. Giuliano de' Medici was so impressed that his mother's wife and the child, his son, is going to grow without knowing how his mother looked like. So he asked Da Vinci to create the most beautiful woman he can imagine, so he can show it to his son when he grows up that was his mother.
So these are the kinds of
even
stories that are
though,
these are the kind of stories that are in your book, right?
right, exactly. This is the stories in my book, but in details, I'm just telling you in general what,
Yeah, yeah,
how the
yeah,
story is.
yeah.
So anyway, so Giuliano paid Leonardo to get the paintings, the painting of his future, of his imaginary mother.
Right.
So Leonardo painted a composition between something like between him and his
Oh,
lover.
I gotcha.
His lover is Gian Caprotti da Orenno.
Okay.
That was his lover with whom he lived. Unfortunately, I have to mention that he was the son of his vineyard keeper,
Mhm.
and he was with Leonardo from the age of 10 till the age of almost 40.
Hmm.
So
Well,
that was his lover,
how
Leonardo's
much
lover.
how much of the book is the research that you've done, and how much was it just stuff that you've gleaned over the years because of your interest in Da Vinci?
Well, Da Vinci, everybody knows Da Vinci painted Mona Lisa, and then we know nothing.
Yeah,
Every biography starts where we know nothing about Leonardo da Vinci from the time he was born till 26 years old or something, 24.
yeah, yeah.
So I said that was the most important years of my life, and probably yours too, because you went to school, you study, all that,
Mm.
and then nobody knows anything about it.
Yeah.
So I started doing some research, and then I find out that he was study and he was admitted, but because his situation, what at that time, and with his sexuality, he had to disappear for a while, and he was wandering around, and basically he was. I just heard recently that he was a party. Uh, Supervisor or party creator or party manager or party master.
Animal, party
At,
animal.
no, 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 no. He was organizing, party organizer.
I gotcha.
And as a matter of fact, they say that he invented the napkins we use today. So
Ah,
I don't know much about that. So the protocol, the
uh,
party protocol,
right, right.
was invented by Da Vinci. And you sit at a table and you have certain manners
Uh-huh.
to behave it upon.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is such.
So then,
Go ahead.
yeah, and then later, um, uh, getting back to Mona Lisa, the one that's in the Louvre. So then he painted that painting. But the time he was about to deliver the painting to Giuliano de Medici, Giuliano Medici died suddenly for I don't know what reasons, and he kept the painting. He had no, and that was the only painting he ever kept because it had so much important meanings between him and
Mm,
his lover.
mm,
So at the end, when even he had notes, he wrote himself notes: sell everything you don't need, because he was always moving around. And
mm.
when he was invited to live with the King of France in his last year of his life, he took the Mona Lisa with him, the only painting he ever took with him.
Mm.
So, as I read in my book, there's no gay man who's going to take somebody else's wife with him wherever he goes,
Well,
because Leonardo basically didn't like women. He didn't
well,
like women. That was the truth. That's the truth.
there are so many great stories in your
Yes.
book, and I would encourage anybody who's interested in the least in Da Vinci to get a copy of this book. It's called Da Vinci and Me 500 Years Later, and if it's as entertainingly written as you talk, then I think their readers are in for a great treat. So thanks again for joining us, Claudius. It's great talking with you.
You're welcome.
And thank you,
Okay. Thank
folks,
you.
for spending a few minutes with us on the Global Book Network. I'm Paul Ryden. We'll see you next time.